And polls among Palestinians in the occupied West Bank and Gaza are showing that they're increasingly in favor of a one-state solution with equal rights for Israelis and Palestinians alike and equal citizenship. Is that something you believe could happen, or is that something you support?
No, I don't. I mean, I think if that happens, then that would be the end of the state of Israel. And I support Israel's right to exist.
What an asshole!
Black Rockstar Games presents Goy Theft Auto 6, Germany edition. You just wanted to live a peaceful Goy life, but this ain't happening. Someone's got other plans. The German head Goy is owned by BlackRock and wants you to die in Ukraine for democracy or something, while flooding your country with violent engineers that live off your taxes. That's why you can only afford slot from 5 Goys, while Top Goy has got the mandatory saddies cause of the halabunga. And you've had enough. Get chased by the police. Try to survive the parade in front of Brandenburger Tor. Enjoy an open-world replica of Germany with real places. Blow up buildings of fake news media outlets. And transfer your committed crimes onto a chicken to neutralize wanted levels.
Alright guys, we need to come up with a new product, something that's innovative, something that looks cool. Anyone have any suggestions?
1 second. Oh yeah. Inspiration. Let's turn this full-size shotgun into a bullpup and put 2 magazine tubes inside of it. I did it. I'm going to call it the Keltec KSG. 2 full-size magazine tubes, 7 2 3/4 inch shells in each one, for a combined total of 14 plus 1 round capacity. I also added a Picatinny rail right here, so if you don't have a foregrip, it's going to hurt and cut up your hands. I want this to also be the most painful shotgun to ever exist. Florida man, woo! Where the hell am I?
Something that's really funny about all this is ISIS attacks everywhere in the Middle East except for one country, and that country is Israel. Okay? Really funny how you have these Muslim extremists going around committing all sorts of atrocities everywhere in the Middle East except Israel. And so that's why a lot of people believe that Islamic State is actually a creation of Mossad. It's that much more efficient, it's that much more effective. Okay? So what Israel is saying is, we are much better at controlling the Middle East than the Americans. So let us control the Middle East using our strategies. Okay? This is a story of a Mossad agent who was disguised as an ISIS preacher. There are lots of stories where you have these ISIS commanders or agents, and when you arrest them, you discover, okay, actually, they're actually Mossad, okay?
Well, well, well. And the only way that you could stop dinosaurs from attacking is spray them with cotton candy, and then they'd stop and just start licking all the cotton candy off of their bodies, and then there's like a lot of places they couldn't get to, and so like their buddies would come over and lick the cotton candy off of them, and then they would stop attacking you because they really like cotton candy.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Bright.
Then do
available.
and homelessness and all that. And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
Fuck you, you fucking retards!
So now on top of everything else we're expected to shit our pants over, we've got this growing Ebola outbreak.
Allegedly!
You know, and on one hand, you got the people saying that, oh, this is some new, dangerous strain. A totally natural occurrence, I'm sure. But that there's other sources saying this is all bullshit and it's being totally overblown and hyped up. And I just can't believe it's already Ebola season. I still have my hantavirus decorations up. And after seeing the way that that was treated with such seriousness, while also being treated as half-assed as anything I've ever seen, it just makes it a little hard to take any of this shit really seriously.
Maybe that's the plan.
Yeah, I know. Have everybody get their guard down. That way nobody freaks out and cancels their travel plans. It'd be a perfectly plausible cover story to explain why all of a sudden you had shit tons of cases popping up in all these North American cities. As after all, we got the World Cup about to start. Maybe you get cases of Ebola and hantavirus popping up all over the place. They spent all that time and money creating a vaccine for a very uncommon virus. I'm sure they don't want to just watch all this potential profit fade away like the fucking monkeypox. But at a certain point, it seems like a waste of time focusing too much on any one possible trigger. There's a lot of different cards they could play, or any combination of them. There's also the whole tick situation, which there's some major bullshit going on there. Just like the whole Lyme disease thing. For decade after decade after decade after Lyme disease was discovered in Connecticut, if you went to a doctor and said, hey, I got bit by a tick, I think I might have Lyme disease, if you were anywhere else in the country, they'd just tell you, don't worry, that's only really a problem in New England. But then after all this time, in the past few years, magically, it started appearing all over the place. And now this alpha-gal shit, which nobody'd even heard of a few fucking years ago, that now magically seems to be appearing all over the fucking place. But don't worry, RFK Jr. is on the case.
One of the tick-borne disease besides Lyme that is of great concern to the American people, an increasing concern is alpha-gal. And alpha-gal, which is another science fiction nightmare. You get one bite from a Lone Star tick, and you could have a lifetime allergy to red meat. And I was surprised to learn on my trip to visit the Wampanoag for the Indian Health Services this fall that 50% of the population of Martha's Vineyard now has alpha-gal, including most members of the tribe. And so by controlling the breeding on the deer, we also can control alpha-gal as well.
Oh my
We're
God.
also working on medicines that can prevent alpha-gal and that have the potential, the promise of actually curing it.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Seriously, who the fuck is that guy? Sitting there talking about, oh yes, we're working hand in hand with pharmaceutical companies to help fast track some preventative medicine. Is this preventative medicine gonna be in the form of another needle in our fucking arm? Because if so...
Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I remember this guy being the type of dude who would be more likely to try to get info out to the public on different naturally occurring things that repel ticks. But he didn't even fucking mention any of that. Instead, he's talking about a fucking big pharma solution and controlling deer breeding.
Are you retarded?
Yeah, because it's the deer's fault that Bill Gates created this disease so that everybody'd have to end up eating his fucking lab-grown meat.
Allegedly!
Or here's another idea. Why isn't he pushing the concept of people that have the wherewithal acquiring and keeping guinea hens? Because those little motherfuckers eat up ticks like it's going out of style. But let's not mention that either. This jackassery seems to know no bounds.
Don't forget about the aliens.
Oh, yeah. And then there's that stupid bullshit. We're less than 2 weeks out from that Spielberg Disclosure Day movie coming out, which some people think is going to be in conjunction with some kind of government disclosure. I don't know what kind of ridiculous story they're planning on selling to us, but just know that whatever it is, it's going to be pushed out there solely for the benefit of the system, not the people. We've had Trump posting out these goofy-ass AI pictures, and it's not just him posting it on his account on Truth Social. You've got the official White House account posting goofy shit like this, a little like 10-second video with a caption, "Loading tonight." Mind you, that was on Thursday, so I don't know what the fuck that was supposed to be referring to. But you've got these searchlights over a field with crop circles and the word loading. And then as it zooms in, you see two little fires at the bottom of the O in loading with some turquoise or aquamarine coloration. I mean, what the fuck even is this? And then the White House account also posted this little gem. For 60 years, the U.S. government has kept a closely guarded secret. Aliens have been walking among us, living in our neighborhoods, and interacting with us in our daily lives. They've shopped in the same stores, attended the same classes as our children, and lived seemingly normal human existences. With one exception. They do not belong here. I don't know what annoyed me more. The fact that they posted that goofy shit, or the people that took it fucking seriously. Oh god, aliens walking among us! It immediately seemed pretty fucking obvious what aliens they're referring to. This whole disclosure thing, if it was actually legit, would be something that was actually treated seriously, not like a fucking joke. But hey, if we're gonna turn it into a joke, if there's anything worth doing, it's worth doing right. And I would have completely missed this one if it hadn't been for Upstart Radio, so thank you for that, brother. They posted this video of, oh, look, a fucking meteor. Like, yeah, okay, that's been happening forever. But then they cut it off before you see the second part. Like, what is that? What is that there? What you got there? But they only posted the first part of the video and said, ooh, look at this. There definitely is a lot of weird shit going down, and I'm not going to pretend to have even a modest grasp of it all. But my spidey senses keep telling me we might be about to see some blue beam type shit. And then on the AI side of things, you had Trump appoint Pam Bondi to the fucking White House AI panel.
But she's so stupid.
I never really bonded to that ditzy bimbo shtick she tried to play off. She started out as a very successful prosecutor, and say what you will about what shitbags most of them are, they're not stupid. But she'll probably play that part again, and they'll get some kind of deal crafted with the big tech companies that basically hands them the keys to the kingdom, and then she can just turn around and say,
oops, my bad.
Of course, I definitely don't want to be all negative about this. I had this video pop up on my feed last Wednesday. And obviously, with a name like that, I had to fucking check it out. And I can't really speak for any of this guy's other work, but I found this video to be quite informative. One of the things in there was an interview with this guy who runs AIDataCenterMap.org. It's sort of like the DFLOC site, but for data centers, obviously. And there was a lot of really interesting information there, but what really got my attention was the beginning part of the video. He talks about the guy who a few weeks ago threw a Molotov at Sam Altman's house in San Francisco. And apparently, he wrote a manifesto about the existential threat of AI, and he referred to himself as Butlerian jihadist, a term which I was completely unfamiliar with because I'm not a Dune nerd. I watched the original once, 30 years ago, but apparently, even though the details never really got fleshed out in any of the original books, the Butlerian Jihad was a war of humanity against the thinking machines. And even though Frank Herbert never said exactly what the Butlerian part was referring to, some people have theorized that it's referring to a guy named Samuel Butler who in the 1860s got an essay published about the threats that machines could pose in the future, and arguing that we should think of them as a kind of life form that is evolving faster than anything else we've ever seen. And in the video, he includes a lot of excerpts from this essay. It's really a good video and worth checking out. Because this dude way back in the 1860s was very forward-thinking, especially considering, a cuckoo clock back then was fucking technologically advanced. But I'd been thinking lately, trying to figure out some name to call the American versions of the Blade Runners. But really, it shouldn't be just about the flock cameras, because that's just one tentacle. But the anti-AI takeover movement in general. If you're going to try and grow and push forward a movement, you really need to have a name for it after all. And shit, unless somebody comes up with something better at this point, I'm thinking just go with Butlerian. Doesn't have quite the pizzazz I was hoping for, but I suppose it'll do. And pretty much every day I become more convinced that this fight against the AI takeover is the most important one. I guess everybody has that hill they're willing to die on. And a lot of them seem kind of stupid and inconsequential to me when it comes to the big picture. But this I do fully believe is a hill worth dying on. That's one thing that I do have to agree with that crazy little shit that threw the Molotov at Altman's house. This is an existential threat. But we have to be a little bit smarter about how we fight back. I mean, what did this dipshit really think he was going to accomplish? Oh, you're going to burn his fucking house down on Lombard Street and then magically it's going to stop AI data centers from going up?
Stop it. Get some help.
No doubt he's one of the Antifa retards. We really need to have some sort of outreach program. Because there's a lot of backlash coming from the far left on this as well. But some of it is for stupid reasons like, oh my god, they're going to use it to track illegal immigrants. But at least from what I've seen, they're not stupid enough to buy into the whole, oh, nobody's going to have to work, and we'll all get universal basic income, and it's just going to be great. But it needs to be conveyed to them that doing things like burning down a big tech CEO's house, or even assassinating him, is going to be completely counterproductive and will just bring the hammer down. And then everybody protesting or even simply criticizing this shit will be painted with that brush. And it's probably the feds that are infiltrated in your group that are suggesting shit like that. You know, like if you're in Antifa and you're saying, oh man, we really gotta do something about these data centers and flock cameras and the Big Brother surveillance grid they're building. And then one of the people at your little meeting or whatever the fuck you call it goes, you know what we should do? We should assassinate a big tech CEO.
He's a cop.
But there's a lot of different angles of approach to combating this. I mean, there's the people going to town halls and trying to keep them from getting built, the Blade Runner / Butlerians, God bless them. But then there was something else I saw the other day, a video where this guy was talking about basically giving the data a poison pill, sabotaging the data in other words. And he had a really good example of apparently some dude went through his whole music library and took every track and replaced the vocals with the voice of Homer Simpson. I love the irony that he would have used AI to do that too. But then you upload that as though it was an original track, and shit like that can cause problems for AI just ripping music from everywhere, and the metadata looks good on it so it doesn't know the difference. Or just adding in noise, things that the human ear wouldn't even be able to pick up, but it affects and possibly corrupts the data stream. And these kind of shenanigans are perfectly legal. It's exploiting the way that these AI models learn, because they're not sentient or conscious beings. They don't possess logic, reason, and emotional intelligence the way that humans do. They just hoover up all the data and then try to mimic what's out there in a more efficient manner. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but this is just the way I'm seeing it. And this explains why you have these AIs displaying bad behavior. It's because they're training them on this social media data, so it sees all the shitty, self-serving ways that people treat each other, and then that gets integrated into its own processes. And anybody who's better informed on this subject, please feel free to correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about any of this. But to me, this is just another reason why this needs to be resisted so much. We're building something that's going to completely dominate every facet of our lives, and almost nobody completely understands how it even works. It's reached the point where the people that are developing these models will openly say that they don't even fully understand it anymore because the models are teaching themselves. But they're pushing along full steam ahead, not even knowing how this is going to turn out. And they got a bunch of dumbass normies sold on the idea that this is just going to create some wonderful utopia where none of us have to work anymore and we just get to spend our time pursuing our creative interests. The problem with utopia is it represents a perfect world, and perfection is an illusion. It's fleeting. For all intents and purposes, it doesn't exist. The actual possibilities of how this is going to end up range from bad to fucking nightmare fuel. But that's what it was always intended to be. It's a weapons system designed to be used against the masses. That's just becoming clearer to people now. And one of the biggest names in this AI arms race just relocated his whole family to Argentina. And really you could make the case that he is the largest player in that game, because the company that he founded is the one that has those juicy contracts with the military and intelligence community. Not just for the US, but for the tiny hats too. So if there's one guy that I disregard what they say and watch what they do, it'd be him. And apparently now they've coined a new, friendlier, less imposing sounding word for censorship.
As technology evolves, we need to build up societal immunity around information manipulation. Because research has shown that pre-bunking is much more successful than debunking. Debunking is basically the opposite of debunking. In short, prevention is preferable to cure. Perhaps if you think of information manipulation as a virus, instead of treating an infection once it has taken hold, that is debunking. It is much better to vaccinate so that the body is inoculated. Pre-bunking is the same approach. Because disinformation relies on people passing it on to others.
You really do have to tip your hat to that. And how do you pre-bunk a claim that hasn't been made? Oh, you prevent them from being able to make it, perhaps? Because you already know they're just going to be lying before they even lie. But by linking it to the concept of debunking, I mean, who doesn't like debunking? If something's bullshit, go ahead and have it debunked. Most people would say they're not for censorship. But if you call it pre-bunking...
Brilliant! Brilliant!
I got something to show you, Bert.
What is it? Is it titties?
Nope, a flashbang.
And now, the weekly flashbang.
So when I hit this, now I don't have the key fob anymore. Imagine I have 10 people that's walking out of Walmart. They all click their key fob. Didn't matter what button they pressed. They could have hit lock, unlock, whatever. So I hit this. That's lock, unlock. See how it says open there? Trunk. And if you see here, every single time that I click the button, you see that number at the end is changing. 155, 1F7, 16E, 1C. So it's going in sync with the key fob, knowing what the next code is going to be. And all I need to do now is walk around the parking lot and start hitting the lock and unlock button and look for what car it was. So I could, let's say it's Christmas, or let's say it's a holiday, or let's say I'm a dangerous person. I could sit in the back seat of someone's car, wait for them to get in it, and make someone's worst fear come true.
That's amazing.
So, luckily, which I'll explain this over here. Luckily, this is not something that's easy to get your hands on right now. You can buy one of these devices for $170, but it's not going to be much more than, like something that could turn a TV on or off.
We really have gone way too far with the assumption that automating and or connecting everything to the internet is always an improvement. Within the span of 20 years, we went from the internet being something of a novelty to being all-encompassing, the internet of everything, down to smart dust in the air. The Matrix has been fucking built all around us, and we're getting attacked from as many angles as possible to disrupt any resistance to that Matrix. Last week, there was this vicious little rumor going around that the EPA had authorized 2 billion GMO mosquitoes getting released, and Lee Zeldin, the head of the EPA, said that's entirely fake news. At no point since President Trump was sworn back into office has the Trump... You notice how he said sworn back into office? You think he might have chosen those words very carefully because it was in Trump's first administration that they authorized the experimental use permit to release a bunch of these GMO mosquitoes in the Florida Keys and in Texas. And he even commented on the quote tweet of this post, reiterating that no genetically engineered mosquitoes are authorized for use in the United States. None. And as it turns out, that's true. But for some reason he left out the part where approval is being sought, and not for 2 billion, for 32 million, which is less than 1/60th the amount, but the amount should be fucking zero. I don't trust anybody to do that kind of shit, let alone them. And speaking of people I don't fucking trust, now there's a provision in the new NDAA that's going to completely integrate our military with our greatest ally. If this actually gets passed, holy shit, I could do a whole episode on just all the different ways that's gonna be a fucking problem. And I know I probably shouldn't even be surprised at this point anymore, but I really did not see this coming. MAGA going full-blown human centipede mode. And I heard something today about Iran publicly announcing that they had formally ended negotiations with the US. So whether that shit starts really jumping off again in earnest tonight, which it could be happening as I speak, a week from now, a month from now, the one thing's for sure is it is far from over. Sláinte.
All I have in this world is my thoughts and my words, and I don't break them for no one. You understand? So say good night to the bad guy. Say good night to the bad guy. So say good night to the bad guy. So say good night to
There is something to be learned from a rainstorm. When meeting with a sudden shower, you try not to get wet and run quickly along the road. By doing such things as passing under the eaves of houses, you still get wet. When you're resolved from the beginning, you will not be perplexed, that you will still get the same soaking. This understanding extends to all things.